My guest today is a guy whose work I became familiar with not too long ago. When I saw it, I was instantly struck by how dynamic it was, and in some of the pieces that I was seeing, the insane amount of detail that was put in there. It was something I hadn't seen before, and come to find out, I find out he's also into CrossFit. And super nice guy when I met him, Stefano Alcantara. How's it going, man?
Thank you very much, man. Thanks for the introduction.
Man, I am blown away by some of the, and I read about it that it's something that you're playing with textures, and I'm blown away by some of that stuff that makes your work look like you describe it as almost surreal,
Yeah, because I kind of like I don't want to do exact copy of a picture and don't add anything from my own. Mm-hmm. So I kind of is like a iambic texture who doesn't really exist and following different shapes or whatever it's tell me the piece what I'm tattooing, and so I wouldn't call it real, even if I try to have the realistic vibe and stuff, but I think it's a surreal piece,
Yeah. So do you go into, like, when you go into a piece that you're working off of some, let's say, realistic reference, do you have in your mind before that, or you're saying you're just kind of, whatever comes out in the texturing process, or do you have an idea before?
I have an idea at least how the flow is gonna go according to the placement of the piece where it goes, and so I know where I'm gonna go with the flow. So even that I incorporate in part of the face who doesn't really have that kind of textures or wrinkles or whatever it is in that case. But I have an idea. But later when I'm tattooing, I really like to improvise. I really like to see what kind of accidents happen and just like continue with. I don't know. I like to have fun when I'm tattooing. So not everything is really planned, really.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. I like that. I mean, there are times when I'm tattooing as well where you do something, whether it's add a color or an idea strikes you that I'm going to add shading here or a line here, and it comes out really great, and it was one of those. It's one of those inspired moments that happen that aren't planned. You have an idea, like you said, well, this piece is going to go here, it's going to flow this way, but once you get it on there and you start working through the process of the actual application, you find that little things come to you, and it's amazing. And I'm doing that on a very minimal scale, man, with more traditionally based elements, and the stuff that you're doing, I think, with the let's call it surrealism, is super cool. I mean, it's absolutely, you're in tune with what you're doing for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a little spin, in the realistic pieces. I love realism. And have a lot of cases where I do straight realism. When it's a memorial tattoo, and when it's something like you need to be exact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Picture. But when I have the freedom to do, I try to use, to play a little bit with that and actually add more detail, and probably that's the pieces I'm more happy with and have more fun with.
Yeah, I think the one of the main pieces that I think about when I think about those things that you're doing is the collaboration piece you did with Jose Perez Jr. And I heard about you guys talking about that piece. I think that piece that I'm thinking about while you guys were in September in Keystone, and setting it up for sometime later at the end of the year or beginning of the year. And that thing, when I looked at it and I saw that deep textury stuff in the face, and it blew my mind, man. It was super cool.
Thank you very much, man. And the cool thing about that piece, we have it full filmed and recorded since the beginning until the end. So we want to see that online soon, or actually, I'm not allowed to talk that, but you want to see it.
Yeah,
the whole process soon. Wow. So it might be fun.
Yeah, that's good. Is that something that you, when you started out, and we could talk a little bit about that too, because it's cool that you came from a third world country, Peru, that didn't have any tattooing around, and around.
It was
Your
not a
friend, your friend found a magazine at a flea market, and you were blown away. Um, is where you're at now something that you could have, I mean, even imagined at that time, being a graphic designer and wanting to tattoo, now to the point where you're filming a complete process of these tattoos that are phenomenal. Is that something you thought about way back then, or wanting to progress it to that point?
I definitely fall in love, and I knew that was something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. That sounds like really cliche, but I really felt it, and I think tattoos have that, and tattoos have something extra than just painting a canvas. We don't have any, and it's not walking, it's not talking to you, it's not telling you a story, and what I love to paint, but I think tattoos have something else. You need to be involved. You're working in a human body, and it's something I really enjoy. I think the first time I was doing, I think that was a challenge also because it was so hard to masterize a technique
Mhm.
like that. And
What was
but
that?
I,
What
but
was it? I mean, you were in a spot where they didn't even have tattoo magazines. So when you got your first equipment, or did you make your first equipment, or how did that all come about? That
well, in that magazine I remember was a tattoo magazine, and and it was the advertisement of you remember. I don't know how long are you tattooing?
I'm in my 18th year.
Oh yeah, we are pretty much in the same
Yeah,
generation of tattooing. And there was half-page blue advertising of Hawk Spalding. Well, this
yeah,
is like a commercial, but there was entire kit there, and I was like, wow, I need that. I was like, I need that kit.
yeah,
So
man.
I ordered it, and that was a problem because no problem, but that was a ordered online. Well, at that time was not online. Was at the time was 1-800 something Hawk
Right.
Spalding or whatever, and I ordered it, and to take it out from customs in Lima, in Peru, that was so hard, and they charged me more than the price of the actual kit. That was like they said, no, this is all medical supplies and something. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. And that was hard to take it off, and but finally when I have it, I really start to practice, and at least I have something to start with. I'm not I don't have skills or electrician or anything to build my own machines. I'm not really good. I can just tune my machines and no more than that. Like I'm not this kind of tattoo artist who really like they unbuild and build the machines to clean them and stuff like that. I prefer to send it to the company and they just tune it for me and stuff like that. They know better than me, so.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, but it's nice to be able, like you said, on the fly. If you have to, you're using a coil machine, and you do use coil machines, FK irons. You have a signature coil machine, which I think is pretty fucking cool. Um, but to be able to manipulate your tools enough to get them in a working order is important. As an artist, you have to know how to handle your tools, and that's great. And you've been doing it from the beginning. I mean, getting a Huck Spalding, those things didn't. I mean, they weren't the best, but
No,
they're.
yes.
but it. Do you find that now, like working with the equipment that you're working with, how important is that to getting the type of look that you have in your?
Yeah, it's really important. I think that make my life easier. And actually, I was working with clip cores for most of my tattoo career or whatever. I'm telling you, probably I've been tattooing, I don't know, more than 15 years with clip cores. And when I changed to RCA, I have so much confidence, and my machine is gonna run always consistent and stuff like that. So that was something for me. I really take one stress out of my mind, when I'm tattooing, because sometimes even when I put the angle, it have a little bit different consistency, or stop for 1 second and continue, and I hate that. And that was something, the reason I was like, wow, I need to change for those because I'm a coil machine guy. I use coils, and I was thinking to change to rotary at some point because you have that connection in a different way. And I was like, oh, that connection is steady and never changed. And that was one of the reasons I was planning to change. And I was talking with Gaston from FKR, and I said, like, yeah, if I was possible to put RCA to my machine, to my coil machine, I said, yeah, hell yeah. So he changed all my machines to RCAs, and then that for me was besides the machines, that runs amazing, and that was one of the biggest changes, because I like to keep even my setup is really pretty much the same in every tattoo. I don't know. I like to try different things, but I don't know. I'm the kind of tattoo artist who like to keep my basics. I'm really basic in my setups and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I talked about that a couple podcasts ago with Bull Ammons, how I played around with. I'm beginning to focus more and on my black and gray and realism work, and so I've done things for so many years a certain way, but I know they're not necessarily the most efficient way that I could be doing it, and so I set up a cap system, and I was working through a couple pieces with a certain setup, and I began to I changed it on another tattoo, and I don't know why I changed it. I just did different, mixtures, and it just made it so much more difficult. So I understand what you're saying about, you mess with that process, you mess with the tools and the setup. If you're confident in a piece and the process you have, the basics, you can push that to a certain degree. You can push it and you can add little elements in. But if you completely change it, it's a whole nother ballgame. You're starting from scratch. And I do think you're right and I think a lot of the guys that are at the level that you're at and are doing the kind of work that you're doing, they're 100% tied to their process, with a little bit of an ability to push it so that they're never stagnant in it.
Right. I try different, once in a while I try different needles, I try different, and I always keep, or my same what, or I change inks or stuff like that in the whole time, my career. But I'm open to try things who are better, for sure, because if not, I will not be tattooing with a machine I'm tattooing right now. I will keep my name Hawk Spalding from the beginning.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm really open to technology. I would say that, or to things who can make tattoos better or easier for art, or healing better, and everything helps. I think we're now I think we are in a really great moment of the tattoo industry, looking how it is growing so fast, and I'm so happy we are in this moment in the time of tattooing history, I would say, because it's something really interesting to see how it's changing everything.
Yeah, it's definitely I believe it's another critical moment in tattooing where, the internet has exploded, the connectivity that people has exploded, the ability to sit here and jump on even a conversation like this with somebody in New York or Japan, London, like I've done before, and just talk about some of the things like the inspiration that comes through, or the positive things that are going on, and to be able to put that out there, just like I feel like these places like Tattoo Artist Magazine and some of these other folks have done in like physical publications. I feel like the ability for people to do this in over Instagram and over podcasts and over Skype and over all these other avenues is really it's going to have a great impact on tattooing, I believe.
I think so. It's